He said, this is an endless hole.
Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing. A bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal.
A bottomless pit in the middle of nowhere, where logic unravels and reality twists into a nightmare. Curiosity got the best of us, and a drone was sent to uncover the truth. It hovered over the gaping mouth.
It's an underground base, a very small underground base.
Then, without warning, it plunged straight in. Moments before vanishing, it sent back one final image, something shifting in the dark, the glint of watching eyes, and the distant echoes of a chilling cry. Then, static. What did it awaken? Stick around, let's find out. The legend begins. Mel Waters and the Hole.
Mel's Hole is a complex, very interesting mystery.
Let's rewind to where it all started. February 21st, 1997. A guy named Mel Waters picks up the phone and dials into Coast to Coast AM, a late-night radio show hosted by Art Bell. He's got a story to tell, and it's not your average backyard tale. Mel claims there's a hole on his property near Ellensburg, Washington. A hole so deep he can't find the bottom. He says he's dropped thousands of feet of fishing line into it, expecting a splash. But all he gets is silence. Over 80,000 feet, he estimates, though no one's ever verified that number. That call wasn't just a weird flex. It lit a match that set the world on fire with curiosity. Because this wasn't just a pit, there was something wrong. Mel painted a picture that still gives people chills. Animals wouldn't go near it. Dogs whimpered. Birds veered away like it was cursed. Locals swore the air felt heavy like the earth itself was pulling you in. Mel tried experiments, lowering candy tied to that fishing line, hoping to hit the water. When he reel it back up, bone dry. No moisture, no explanation. Then there's the radios. Bring one close, and the signal turns to static, until it locks onto something impossible. Old broadcasts, like a baseball game from 1967, crackling through the speakers as if time had slipped. But the real kicker? The neighbors had been using it as a dump for years. Trash, furniture, even a dead dog tossed in without a sound. A few days after it was dumped, someone spotted it running through the forest, alive, but different. Its eyes were glassy, its bark a hollow rasp, like it had clawed its way back from somewhere else. Mel couldn't explain it, and neither could anyone else.
As usual, I brought the dogs with me. They wouldn't go anywhere near the damn thing.
Word spread fast. People flocked to see this bottomless wonder, whispering about what it could be. A natural oddity? A government experiment gone wrong? Or something older, darker, waiting in the depths? This wasn't just a hole in the ground. It was a pit that swallowed reality itself, spitting back fragments of a world we weren't meant to see. And that was just the beginning. Years later, someone decided to send a drone down there, and what it found turned this legend into a living nightmare. The drone mission, a fateful descent, accelerated from Mel's wild radio days to the 2020s. The hole's still there, a dark scar on the Washington landscape, whispering its secrets to anyone brave or crazy enough to listen.
All right, when did you discover this hole?
Well, the hole has always been there. We've been out there for a couple of years now.
By now, the stories have piled up. The dog that wouldn't stay dead, the radio stuck in time, the bottomless void that mocked every rope and line dropped into it. But no one had proof, just Mel's word and a whole lot of goosebumps. That's when a group of modern truth seekers said enough's enough. Armed with cutting-edge tech, they decided to send a drone into Mel's hole to finally see what's down there. What they got instead was a one-way ticket to terror. Picture it, a crisp morning near Ellensburg, the air buzzing with anticipation. The team sets up, a high-tech drone decked out with 4K cameras, thermal sensors, and a live feed streaming to their screens. It's not some toy. This thing's built to explore caves, withstand storms, and go where humans can't. They hover it over the hole, a jagged maw maybe 9 feet wide, lined with weathered stone that looks older than it should. The signal's strong, the propellers hum, and then, down it goes. At first, it's smooth sailing. The footage shows dirt walls slipping past, the light fading fast as it drops below 50 feet, then 100. The team's counting, 300 feet, 400 feet, no bottom in sight, just endless black. deeper than any natural pit should be.
Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing, a bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal.
Then things get weird. Around 500 feet, the audio picks up a low hum, not mechanical, but alive, like the growl of something massive breathing in the dark. The feed flickers, static cuts in, the thermal readings spike for no reason. The drone's still falling, past 1,000 feet now, deeper than the Grand Canyon, deeper than science says is possible. The team's sweating, checking their gear, but it's not a glitch. The radio signal warps, spitting out garbled voices, snippets of old music, a newsreel from decades ago, like the holes chewing on time itself. At over 1,000 feet, the hum grows louder, rattling the drone's frame. The walls on-screen shift. Smooth stone turns jagged, wet, glistening with something that shouldn't be there. This wasn't just exploration anymore. It was a plunge into the unknown. The teams yelling at each other, "Pull it up," but the controls lag, and the drone's locked in its descent. Deeper, darker, until the numbers stop making sense. The Earth's crust isn't even that thick. And then, just as they're ready to call it lost, the screen flares. A pulse of light from below, faint at first, but growing. Something's down there. Something that shouldn't be. This wasn't a mission to map a hole. It was a dare thrown into the abyss, and the abyss was about to answer. What that drone saw next wasn't just strange. It was a nightmare carved into every frame, waiting to claw its way out. The nightmare footage. What the drone saw. The drone's live feed was already a mess. Static cutting through the hum. The depth meter spinning past numbers that didn't make sense. The team's screens glowed in the dim morning light, every eye glued to what should have been just dirt and darkness. But then it happened. A flash from below, faint at first, like a distant ember in the void. The drone steadied itself, its camera tilting downward, and what it captured was strange. It was a nightmare ripped straight from the edge of reality. This wasn't a hole anymore. It was a wound in the world, and something inside was bleeding. The light pulsed, red at first, angry and raw, then shifting to a sickly violet that stung the eyes even through the screen. It wasn't steady like a bulb or a fire. It throbbed, like a heartbeat echoing from miles below. The walls of the pit came into focus. Smooth stone gave way to something wet, glistening, streaked with crimson that didn't drip down but up, defying gravity, pooling toward the surface like blood climbing to escape. The thermal sensors screamed, hot spots flaring where nothing should burn, cold patches where heat should have been. The team scrambled to make sense of it, but the footage didn't care about sense. It was showing them the impossible. Then came the sound. At first, it was buried under that low hum, a faint wail, sharp and piercing, clawing its way through the audio. The hum faded, and the screams took over. Not human, not animal, but something wrong. A chorus of agony, layered and warped, as voices stretched across time, shrieking from a place no living thing should know. Some sounded close, others impossibly far, echoing off walls that shouldn't exist at that depth. The team froze. One guy dropped his headset, hands shaking, muttering it sounded like hell itself had opened up. The drone's mic peaked, distortion ripping through the feed, but the screams kept coming. The camera panned, chasing that pulsing light, and that's when the scene hit full view. A cavern wall, or what looked like one, coated in that crimson slime, thick and viscous, shimmering under the drone's spotlight. It wasn't still. It moved, slow and deliberate, like it was alive, veins pulsing beneath the surface. Chunks of debris floated upward, rocks, dirt, something that might have been bone, caught in a current no wind could explain. The light flared brighter, blinding white now, and the drone's lens struggled to adjust. Shadows flickered across the screen, jagged and wrong, like something massive was shifting just out of sight. The light flared one last time, swallowing the entity in a blinding flash, and the screen went black. No static, no error code, just nothing. The drone didn't crash. It didn't malfunction. It was gone, and what it left behind wasn't a recording. It was a warning. A peek of something down there that wasn't meant to be found. Something that's haunted every frame, every mind, ever since. This wasn't science anymore. This was the abyss staring back, and it wasn't done with us yet. The aftermath. Drone lost. world shaken. The screen went black, and just like that, the drone was gone. No flicker of static, no connection lost warning, just silence, as if the hole had swallowed it whole. The team stared at their blank monitors, hearts pounding, waiting for something, anything, to come back online. They checked the signal, the backup batteries, and the remote link. Nothing. Minutes stretched into hours, but the drone didn't resurface. No wreckage, no debris, not even a whisper of its high-tech frame. It was like the abyss reached up, grabbed it, and pulled it into a place beyond reach. They'd sent it to uncover the truth about Mel's hole, but what they got was a void that answered with absence, and something far worse. Someone on the team, nobody is sure who, saved that last chunk of footage before the feed cut out. The screams, the blood climbing the walls, that light flickering thing. They swore they'd keep it quiet, figure it out first. But secrets like that don't stay buried. Within days, it leaked online, uploaded to some obscure forum with a shaky title, Mel's Hole Drone Final Moments. It spread like wildfire. Reddit threads exploded. YouTube reaction channels looped it, and TikTok stitched it into every creepy compilation. Half the world called it a hoax. CGI nonsense, they said. The other half couldn't sleep. Those screams stuck in your head. That entity's stare lingered behind closed eyes. Downloads hit millions before the original got yanked. Scrubbed from the net, but not fast enough. Copies were everywhere, haunting anyone who dared to watch. Then the weirdness hit closer to home. Ellensburg locals, people who'd lived near that hole for years, started talking. After the footage dropped, they swore the night felt different. A low hum rolled through town, faint but constant, like the one from the drone's mic. Some woke up screaming, dreaming of glowing eyes peering from their windows. One guy, a farmer a mile from Mel's old land, said his dog wouldn't stop howling in the dark, like it sensed something awake out there.
There's a lot of weird stuff about this hole. Dogs are afraid of this hole. Animals are afraid of this hole.
The world was shaken, split between skeptics and believers. But one thing was clear. Mel's hole wasn't just a story anymore. It was a wound that wouldn't close, bleeding into reality. What do you think that drone saw? Was it a glitch, a trick, or something real enough to reach back? Government intervention. Secrets buried deep. The drone's footage hit like a bomb. Screams, blood, and that thing staring back. But the story doesn't end with a black screen. Because if Mel Waters taught us anything, it's that when something this weird pops up, the suits aren't far behind. Rewind to 1997. Mel's on Coast to Coast AM, spilling his guts about the hole. He's barely finished talking when he says, "The government rolls in. Black helicopters buzzing overhead, military trucks clogging the dirt roads near Ellensburg, and men in dark suits knocking on his door. They fed him a line about a plane crash. No wreckage, no proof, just an excuse to lock down his land." Mel pushed back and demanded answers, but they didn't budge. Instead, they offered him cash, millions he claimed, to pack up and leave. He took the deal, moved to Australia, and the hole went silent. Or so they thought. Fast forward to the drone incident. That footage leaks, the internet loses its mind, and suddenly, the quiet patch of Washington isn't so quiet anymore. Locals start whispering about choppers again. Same blacked out birds, circling low over Mel's old property just days after the clip goes viral. Military types show up, this time with bigger toys. Barricades, floodlights, and armed guards who don't answer questions. A no-fly zone pops up overnight. No explanation, just warnings of national security. Satellite images? Forget it. Pull up Google Earth, and you'll see a black square smeared over the site like someone took a marker to the map. Sound familiar? It's the same trick they've pulled with Area 51. Hide it, deny it, let the rumors fester. But why? What's worth this much trouble?
I think any document that comes out about Area 51 stirs up the pot of intrigue.
Mel swore they found something down there back in the 90s, something they couldn't let out. Maybe it was alien tech, buried deep and buzzing with secrets, like the reverse engineering whispers from Nevada's Groom Lake. Or a time rift, spitting out old radio signals and warped dogs, too dangerous to study up close. Or maybe, just maybe, it's that entity the drone saw, alive and waiting, something they've known about since those tribal warnings got drowned out by progress. The cash they threw at Mel wasn't a bribe, It was a gag order, and when the drone stirred it up again, they didn't just lock down the hole, they locked down the truth. One detail sticks out. A guy in a suit, back in 1997, sneered at Mel when he threatened to go public. "Talk all you want," he said. "Nobody'll believe you." Except now, with that footage, people do. The military didn't count on a drone slipping past their nets, beaming back proof of whatever they've been guarding. So what's the play? Bury it deeper? Blow it shut? Or are they down there right now, trying to talk to it or kill it? Whatever's happening, they didn't just seal off Mel's land. They sealed off something alive. Something that's been awake since that drone dropped in. And if they're this scared, what does that mean for the rest of us? The science that failed. Experts stumped. So the government's circling like vultures. But what does science say? You'd think geologists, physicists, or someone with a PhD and a clipboard could crack Mel's hole wide open. After all, we've mapped the ocean floor, drilled into volcanoes, and sent probes to Mars. A weird pit in Washington? Should be a cakewalk. Except it wasn't. From the moment Mel went public in '97, experts tried to weigh in, and when that drone footage hit, they doubled down.
Which lends itself to the mysteriousness of Mel's hole. Did Mel take it? Did it just sort of rise out of the locked file cabinet?
What they found, or didn't find, only made the nightmare worse. Because this hole didn't just stump science, it broke it. Start with the basics. Depth. Mel claimed over 80,000 feet. That is 15 miles straight down. Geologists laughed. Earth's crust in that region maxes out at about 25 miles, and no natural sinkhole goes anywhere near that deep. The deepest man-made hole, the Kola Super Deep Borehole, taps out at 7.5 miles, and it took decades to drill. So they called BS, until the drone dropped past thousands of feet on camera. No bottom in sight, no walls caving in. Okay, maybe a glitch, they said. But then the tech started failing. GPS units near the hole spun out, coordinates jumping miles off or flatlining entirely. Drones sent to scout the rim shut out mid-flight, crashing before they even got close. Sound familiar? It's the same glitchy mess investigators get at Skinwalker Ranch. Electronics choking on something they can't process. Then there's the footage itself. That upward-flowing crimson slime? Chemists tested samples from the hole's edge. Mel had sent some in the 90s, and found iron oxides, sure, like blood falls in Antarctica. But blood doesn't climb walls against gravity. Fluid dynamics experts threw up their hands. Impossible, they said, unless some unseen force was at play, something physics hasn't named yet. The screams? Acoustics teams analyzed the audio. Too layered, too distorted, bouncing off surfaces that shouldn't be there at that depth. One guy swore it sounded like a cavern miles wide, but sonar scans from the surface picked up nothing, just a narrow shaft dropping into silence. And the entity? Biologists wouldn't touch it. CGI trick, they scoffed. But thermal readings from the drone spiked hot where that thing stood, then plunged cold when it moved like it was sucking energy out of the air. Physicists muttered about exotic matter, a fancy way of saying they had no clue. Even the burning ice Mel found in Nevada, dry, flammable, defying chemistry, echoed here. Samples near the hole wouldn't melt right, they'd spark instead. Science drew a blank, not because the data was bad, but because the rules didn't apply. This wasn't our world anymore. It was a glitch in the system, a place where equations unraveled and logic ran screaming. The experts walked away stumped, some quietly admitting they'd never seen anything like it. Others refused to talk like they'd seen something they couldn't unsee. The hole didn't just defy their tools, it defied their reality. And if science can't explain it, what's left? A portal? A prison? Or something so old it laughs at our microscopes? Theories run wild. What lies below? Science threw in the towel, and the government locked it down. But the questions won't quit. What's really down there in Mel's hole? That drone didn't just vanish, it ripped the lid off a mystery that's been simmering for decades, and now the theories are running wild. From the moment Mel hit the airwaves, people started guessing. Callers on Coast to Coast AM, forum junkies, late-night conspiracy buffs. The footage of screams, blood, and that thing only poured fuel on the fire. So let's dive into the rabbit hole. What's the deal with this pit? Is it a portal, a prison, or something we can't even name? Buckle up, because these ideas are as chilling as they get. First up, the portal theory. Mel's radio picking up broadcasts from 1967, that dog coming back. What if the hole's a tear in time or space? The drones plunge past thousands of feet, those warped screams echoing from nowhere. It's like it crossed into another dimension. Some say it's a wormhole, a shortcut to places we can't map. Others tie it to ley lines, those invisible energy grids crisscrossing the planet, claiming the hole's a hotspot where realities bleed together. The entity? Maybe a traveler stuck between worlds, or a guard making sure nothing gets out. The hum could be the sound of that rift vibrating, and the blood climbing up? Probably a sign something's trying to cross over. If it's a portal, what's on the other side? And why's it so angry? Then there's the Hollow Earth crowd. Old school theorists have been shouting about this forever. Earth's got a hidden world inside, complete with civilizations, maybe even suns. Mel's endless fishing line, the drone's impossible depth, it fits. Callers back in the 90s swore the hole was a tunnel to that underworld, a shaft to a place we've forgotten. The screams could be voices from down there, the entity a resident or a refugee. Tie in the glowing light, and you've got a glimpse of something massive, alive, miles below our feet. Hollow Earth sounds nuts, but when science can't explain a pit this deep, who's to say it's not real? Next, the extraterrestrial angle. Washington's no stranger to UFOs. Think Kenneth Arnold's 1947 sighting near Mount Rainier, not far from Ellensburg. What if Mel's Hole is an alien base, a staging ground buried deep? The government swooping in, the black square on satellite maps, it's Area 51 playbook stuff. That thing the drone saw could be an extraterrestrial or some bioengineered watchdog. The radio signals might be their tech bleeding through, the blood a byproduct of experiments we can't fathom. Maybe they've been here forever, and the drone just tripped their alarm. If aliens are down there, what are they hiding? And why'd they let us see it? Finally, the living nightmare theory.
And has something to do with extraterrestrials or UFO crafts.
What if the hole's not a place, but a thing? A prison for something ancient, alive and pissed? The tribal warnings, the glowing eyes, the seal-like creature Mel found in Nevada. It all points to something trapped, waking up. The drone didn't just film it, it provoked it. Those screams? A roar of rage from a cage we can't see. The blood climbing up? It's reaching out. Maybe it's been down there since before humans walked, sealed away until Mel and his curiosity cracked the lock. Now it's awake, and it's not alone. Mel's fate, a man erased. One moment, he was a voice on late-night radio, warning the world. The next, silenced, vanished. And when he finally reappeared, he wasn't the same. What happened to Mel? And why did he warn, "Don't go back, it's awake now"? Mel Waters started this whole mess. A regular guy who stumbled onto a hole that wasn't just deep, but alive with secrets. He brought it to the world on Coast to Coast AM, and for a while, he was the voice of the mystery. But the hole didn't let him go quietly. After the government pushed him out, millions in his pocket and a one-way ticket to Australia, Mel tried to keep talking. He'd call into the show, drop cryptic updates, hint at things he couldn't say. Then, sometime in the early 2000s, he was set to do another big interview with Art Bell. The date was locked, and fans were buzzing. But when the mic went live, silence. Mel was gone. No call, no message, no trace. The man who opened the door to this nightmare had vanished into it. He resurfaced years later, broken and strange. In a shaky phone call to the show, Mel claimed he'd been on a bus, heading to see family, when chaos hit.
Search for Mel's Hole. I think that's a question in a metaphorical sense, in a deeper sense.
A fight broke out, police swarmed, and the next thing he knew, he woke up in a San Francisco alley. 12 days missing from his memory, wallet gone, needle marks on his arm, back teeth yanked out. He sounded scared and paranoid, like someone, or something, had gotten to him. Art's audience ate it up, but skeptics called it a tall tale. Mel swore the hole was behind it, that the men in suits who took his land weren't done silencing him. Then he faded again, leaving more questions than answers. After the drone footage leaked, rumors flared back to life. A grainy post on some fringe blog claimed Mel showed up in Ellensburg, disheveled, wild-eyed, days after the clip went viral. He was supposedly seen near the old property line, muttering to anyone who'd listen, "Don't go back, it's awake now." Locals say he looked half dead, like the years had hollowed him out. Then, poof, gone again. No one's sure if it was really him or just a ghost story wearing his face. But it fits, doesn't it? The guy who poked the abyss, who saw its tricks firsthand, the dog, the radios, the hum, couldn't escape its pull. The global echo, similar holes worldwide. Mel's Hole isn't just a lone freak show. It's a scream in a chorus of whispers echoing across the planet. The drone footage shook us, sure, but what if it's not the only pit staring back? After that clip went viral, people started digging, not into the ground, but into stories, maps, and old legends. Turns out, Mel's nightmare might be part of something bigger, a network of holes that hum, glow, and swallow more than they should. From Nevada to Siberia to the open sea, these places share a vibe.
Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington. Como 4's Denise Whitaker heads east in search of the hole.
Weird sounds, lost tech, and a feeling that something's watching. Let's take a trip around the world. Because if Mel's Hole isn't alone, we've got a problem way scarier than one lost drone. Start close to home, Nevada. Mel himself stumbled onto another pit years after leaving Washington. A 9-foot-wide abyss lined with strange metal, sacred to the local Basque community. They dropped ice down about 1,000 feet. It came back dry, warm, and burned like a torch when lit. Sound familiar? Then a sheep went in, came up dead, guts cooked, hiding a seal-like creature with human eyes that slithered back into the dark. The hum was there too, just like Ellensburg. After the drone footage dropped, locals swore they heard it again, louder, with flickers of light piercing the night. 2 holes, 2 states, same dread. What's connecting them? Head overseas to Siberia, the well to hell. In the 70s, Soviet drills on the Kola Peninsula punched 7.5 miles down and hit something very odd. They lowered mics, caught screams, not wind or machinery, but tormented wails that leaked into tabloids as proof of hell's doorstep. The project shut down fast, officially for funding, but the story stuck. Post-drone leak, Russian forums lit up, claims of that same hum creeping back, faint lights spotted near the sealed site. Coincidence? Or did Mel's Abyss wake something up over there too? Then there's the Bermuda Triangle. Less a hole, more a void that eats ships and planes. Over 1,000 disappearances, no distress calls, just gone. Drones sent to map it glitch out, compasses spin, and pilots hear static that sounds too much like voices. After Mel's footage, fishermen swore they saw red glows under the waves, the same pulsing light the drone caught. A triangle in the ocean, a pit in Washington, different shapes, same hunger. And don't forget Romania's Hoia Baciu forest, a dead zone where trees twist and tech fails, with a circular clearing locals call a portal. Post-leak, hikers reported a low hum, glowing eyes in the shadows. Sound familiar? These spots aren't random. Screams, lights, things that don't belong. Mel's Hole might be the loudest, but it's not the only one talking. Are they linked? A web of rifts under our feet, waking up together? The drone didn't just film a nightmare. It might have rung a bell the whole world's hearing. If that entity's got cousins out there, we're not just haunted, we're surrounded. What do you think? One-off weirdness or a global warning? Tell me in the comments. Because if these holes are connected, Mel's just the start, and the next one could be closer than we think. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.